Thanks everybody for joining. This is Carol from the STS. I'm going to get started here. I think my slides will go. There we go. Quick welcome and introductions for us and some STS updates. IQVIA doesn't have any updates for us today, but they are going to be posting an update notification onto the IQVIA platform under notifications, and then some user feedback. I have a couple polling questions today and a few things to chat with you about going on at STS. So be ready to help me out with those polling questions. And if you have any questions, please either use the raised hand function or submit your questions using the Q&A function. We'll get to them. I'm going to shut off the chat box. It's great to see everybody here, and thanks for letting me know where you're at. You all are so amazing. So thank you. And I'm glad we're all here together today. For anybody who's listening to this meeting on our YouTube channel after today, when it's posted within a few days, please reach out to me on these polling questions that I'm going to ask, I think on this next slide or in 2 slides or 3 slides, whatever it is, and give me your feedback. My email I'll post up at the end, but I just want to hear from you as well. So first of all, I want to give a big shout out to our Michigan Data Managers group. Had an amazing meeting today, a lot of great information, and I just want to say it was really well done, well organized, and a lot of great engagement. So congratulations to MSC TVS, the Michigan Society for Cardiothoracic Vascular Surgery, on a very successful Data Managers meeting today. Next, important dates. I'm sorry if this is hard to read, but I just wanted to show you that we were past those dates. So August 9th, our Harvest 2 reports were released. That was last Monday. So the Harvest 2 reports have been released. They are posted within the IQVIA platform under the risk adjusted and benchmark data. Harvest 3 closed on August 13th. Harvest 3 opt-out was yesterday. It'll take IQVIA a week or so, 2 weeks to get that data over to DCRI, and then analysis will be performed on it and sent back. Probably expect that data back within 6 to 8 weeks since it's a harvest period, star rating period. We're at August 18th today, which is our user group call. September 1st, we have our monthly webinar at 2 p.m. And the 15th, we have another user group call. AQO is scheduled from October 12th through the 15th. Adult cardiac will be on the 14th. And then just a early reminder that November 12th, the adult cardiac Harvest 4 closes, and that will include OR dates through September 30th. So keep that in mind. Try to schedule that prior to Thanksgiving vacations. Keep that in mind that it's coming up on November 12th. All right. Now we're going to get into these polling questions. So first, I want to let you know that the August training manual is posted. Harvest 2 reports are posted, and then AQO. So AQO is coming. It's a data managers meeting. A lot of great content is being planned by our surgeons and abstractors for presentation. Registration is free this year for all data managers associated with an active participant ID. More information on those roles that receive free access is posted online, and I can show you where all that's at if you folks haven't been able to register yet. So I'm gonna, I know Melinda is awesome. So I am going to open the polling questions for AQO. I have 2 questions. The first one is, Leanne, can you see the poll okay? The first question is, have you registered for AQO? Thank you. Have you registered for AQO? Yep, you're all signed up. No, not yet, but I'm planning to register. And no, I won't be able to join this year, which is okay, but we'll miss you. So I'm gonna let that run for a little bit. Got a good response rate. So it looks like almost 80% have responded. And I am going to end the poll now, and I'll share those results with you. Most folks, 67% have registered, 28% are getting ready to register, and 5% won't be able to join. If you're going to register, please go ahead. There's no rush in it. We just like to see how many folks are coming in. Right now, we're at a really high number, so it's kind of exciting. It's going to be a good meeting this year with a lot of engagement from you all. All right. The next question is related to next year's AQO, which is being planned as a hybrid meeting. The live portion will be in Rhode Island. We're working out the virtual part of that meeting. I don't think we have even really talked about it, but it's just being planned as a hybrid at this time. We definitely will be live if restrictions lift and all that good stuff. So that's we're planning on it and praying that that happens. So do you anticipate that you would be able to join in person? The answers are yes, I can't wait to see everyone in person. No, I won't be able to attend. My hospital is not paying for travel or in-person meetings for 2022. Not sure, but I am considering it. Not sure, but probably not. Can you see that question too, Leanne?
Yes, ma'am.
Friend? Okay. Nobody's gonna vote? Anybody?
I wonder if there's an issue with that. Let me see if
All right, let's relaunch it. Well, then I'm gonna relaunch it. Yeah. Okay.
They said they can't. Okay. See poll results for number 2, not the poll.
Oh, here, I know why, because it's a user error. How's that? There we go.
There we go.
I'm like, what the heck am I doing wrong? Thank you. Sorry, guys. All right, so that poll is going to run. And I getting some good feedback. And again, if you're listening to this after the live portion of after the live webinar that we're having today, and you're watching this as a recording, please just, if you want to reach out to me with any feedback on these polling questions, feel free. Okay, let's see. So it looks like I'm going to end the poll here, and pretty split. Folks considering it, can't wait to see everybody. Small portion, or 30%, not a small portion, looks like their hospital will not be paying for travel. And 13% said not sure, but probably not. So hopefully it works out where we're able to see everybody in person and still able to provide a virtual aspect to that meeting. Thank you so much for your feedback on that. Okay. And then my next polling question, we're going to talk about adults with congenital heart disease. So right now, if your adult surgeons perform a congenital heart disease surgery on an adult, you can enter that case into the adult cardiac database. If you have surgeons who cross over into the congenital database and adult cardiac database, that case can be entered into both databases. Or you could just enter it in the congenital database. So a couple options there. I'm interested, we have a big upgrade coming for the congenital heart disease, congenital heart surgery database, our CHSD database. And we're implementing quite a few fields from the adult into the congenital database that will only be specific to those patients who are 18 years and over. To get an idea of how we're going to operationalize this so we get data on the most patients with congenital heart disease, because almost 50% of all congenital heart disease cases are being performed on adults. Most of these patients, probably almost all of these patients, I don't have the exact numbers, but a large portion of these adult patients have had congenital heart surgery as an adolescent, as a minor. So they're already in the congenital heart surgery database. And to follow these patients longitudinally, we want to be able to get information on additional procedures they have when they're 18 or over. And again, it's almost 50% of all congenital heart surgery database patients are over 18 years old, which is a large number. And it means that congenital heart surgery is working and keeping these little babies who have horrendous heart disease or heart anomalies, keeping these patients alive longer and they're living healthy, great lives. They just need to come back in for further surgery when they're in their adulthood. So it's great that we are implementing these fields into the congenital database. But I want to get an idea as we try to come up on how best to operationalize this, what you're doing at your site. So I just launched the poll, and it says, do your adult cardiac surgeons perform procedures for adults with congenital heart disease? And a couple answers here. Yes, we enter these cases into the ACSD only. We enter these cases into the ACSD and CHSD, or yes, and we enter these cases into the CHSD. And no, we don't perform congenital procedures on adults, which I think is pretty common for the adult surgery database, but there is a group that are performing, and it looks probably greater than half that are performing on these adults with congenital heart disease. So we're at 63%. It's kind of slowed down. I'll give it a couple seconds here and we'll share these results with you. Okay, here we go. So yes, we enter these cases into ACSD only. Yes, we enter these cases into CHSD and ACSD. And yes, we enter these cases into CHSD only. The majority enter them into the adult cardiac only. And no, almost half do not perform congenital procedures. This will help, the polling results will help us and the surgeon leadership decide how best to capture the data on these adult patients. So more to come on that. That version for congenital doesn't go live until July 1st of 2022. So we'll keep you informed on where we're at with that. Thank you. Next question, just a statement from STS is that we will not be processing any more minor data requests for 2021. So if you had requested a data request, I think all of them have been processed, but there's a couple of restraints and changes going on at STS where we will not be able to take any more minor data requests for the remainder of the year. And then last but not least, which I'm kind of excited about, so this is exciting to me. It's regarding a focus group. The STS leadership, our executive committee, and our board of the surgeon-led board of the STS has decided that they're going to put together. They're looking to engage a company and heavily considering putting together focus groups for each of the databases. And they're looking, I'm going to open the poll just so you can see everything I've written down here. They're really looking for input from the users, from the surgeons, from the abstractors about things that you like, things that you don't like, or ways for improvement on the adult cardiac database. If contacted by STS to participate in a focus group, would you be interested in helping us with that? And it's okay if you say no, it's not, I'm not going to hold anything against you, but I just want to get an idea so we don't reach out to folks if they decide to go through with this, that we don't reach out to folks who really are not interested. So if you are interested, just hit yes. And when STS makes that decision on having focus groups, we'll be reaching out to a select few of you. Okay, and the same thing for if anybody who's listening to this as a recording, please reach out if you would be interested in joining a focus group. Okay, I'm going to end poll. Thank you everybody for voting. I love having these webinars because I get to hear I get a better understanding of where you all are at. So yep, 55% said sure, I'd love to share my feedback with STS, and 45 said nope, not able to participate. I know everybody has a lot going on, so extra time doing these types of things probably isn't realistic right now at some site levels. Totally understandable. All right, so that's all I have there. And then IQVIA, I said, doesn't have any updates for us at this time. We have our vendor support plan. And if anybody is, I guess I didn't put my email on here. That's okay. Well, raise your hands if you have questions or put it in the chat box. I see some people are already, Okay. Oh, thank you. Polling questions. Some people are already putting in some questions, so we're going to go over to those. And let me see. Okay. All right, IQVIA team, we have Melanie and Steve and Joe on with us today. There's a ticket number here for you. And they're looking for some follow-up on this ticket number that they've provided there. And then the same thing for Jeanette has two ticket numbers, it looks.
Okay.
Oh, they're the same ticket number.
Same one.
I'm
Okay,
gonna get rid
we'll
of that.
take a look.
Yeah. Okay, thank you. All right, next question is from Natalia. It says, good afternoon. Where in the ACSD participant dashboard report or in any part of the IQVIA report can I find my minimally invasive valve cases? So STS does not report out on minimally invasive valve cases. These, at this time, these are moved to the other category. STS is working with IQVIA on elaborating on an elaboration of the platform, including reporting out on some of these other cases in more detail, including your aorta cases. I'm not sure how much we're going to report out on minimally invasive valve cases, since those are going into our other registry, which is the TVT registry. So I'm not sure where we're at with that, but it's something that we will discuss and see what we're able to provide back. Hope that helped. Beth, why has adult cardiac been getting shorted on the number of days until harvest close? So we always close harvest 6 to 8 weeks after the last day, after the last OR day that's included in that harvest. I think we're at, I'll pull up my calendar here real quick. I think we're at about, I have a paper calendar, everybody, so I'm gonna flip through my paper calendar. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We're at 7 weeks on November 12th, so we're right within that 6 to 8 week time frame. Closing it on the 19th would not be ideal because that's the week right before Thanksgiving and folks travel. So we close it on the 12th this year, in November. We can always look at closing it after Thanksgiving, but then you get into the other holidays that fall within that time frame. Hanukkah begins on November 29th, and we have other holidays, including Christmas, that are within the next couple weeks. So we try to be mindful of that. That's why the harvest is set for November 12th. Emily's answering Pat Hobbs' question remaining regarding the recordings for the AQO webinars.
I can
And
comment
then,
on it too.
Oh, go ahead, Emily.
Yeah, so AQO content will be on the virtual meeting platform until the end of October, Friday, October 29th. So if you are an attendee of AQO and you want to watch those on-demand videos, and then if you want to watch the live videos, again, they will be recorded, they'll be available. And you want to watch it on the virtual meeting platform, you'll want to do it by the end of October, but then all of that content will be moved to the STS Learning Center, and you'll have access to it until our next AQO in 2022. That's all.
Thanks, Emily. I see Bill has his hand raised, so I'm going, I'll unmute you, Bill. And, oh, your hand went away. You don't want, oh, there it is. It's always a game with the raising the hand. If you want to chat with us, just raise your hand again and I'll be happy to unmute you. Thanks, Emily, for the answer on Pat's question. Next question, the cost of attending the in-person AQO is definitely an issue for us. Virtual is better for us since funds are not available. And we'll see, we're talking internally at STS and surgeon leadership about, we realize we get such a great turnout with the virtual meetings, and it is better for folks to do that, but we also like to have the in-person because there's just there's a connection when you get to network with people and see people's faces and just be around each other. That is also a very big benefit to having in-person meetings. So it's something that STS leadership is talking about and how best to accommodate both approaches. So see what we can do. Just want to confirm the congenital cases do not need to be entered into the ACSD. If your surgeons are performing congenital cases, they should go into, and you participate in the congenital database, they need to go into the congenital database. What did I just say? Yeah, if they're on the congenital, if they're on the site consent and they sign the Schedule A for the congenital database, they definitely need to go into the congenital database. If your surgeons do not participate in the congenital database, you can put them into the adult cardiac, and I don't think that they're required. I would just have to double check on our list. And I know Melinda's on and she would be able to help me with that. If they participate in adult cardiac, I think that we would want those cases, and it's an adult cardiac surgeon, we would want those cases in the adult as well.
Yes.
I will provide some guidance.
Yes,
Right,
Carol.
Melinda?
Yeah, if they're not going into the congenital database, then we want to put them in the adult.
Okay, thank you. They can go in both databases, though. That's one of the recent questions I've gotten, that you can certainly put one case into both databases. I apologize that I missed the ACSD, ACHSD question while fielding a call, but for us, we abstract the adult congenital cases based upon which surgeons performed it. Not all of our surgeons are enrolled in the CHSD, right? So you would put those cases that were performed by your adult surgeons into the adult database at this time. Thanks, Heidi. I'm going, thanks. She says she'd love to help out with the focus group, but she's limited on time for now. I hear you. Which selection of the COVID field kicks it out of analysis, and is this posted somewhere in writing? So we sent out information on this back in March. It came from President at that time, Dr. Duraney, to all surgeons and sites regarding that we would be removing patients from analysis who are positive for COVID pre-operative, any of the positive fields. And I will pull that up here for you. So any of the positive COVID fields would remove your patients from analysis. STS surgeon leadership. Oh, I always want to go right into IQVIA. I see access the database and I'm like, oh yeah, I want to go to the database. My mind kind of goes down that, sees database and automatically wants to click on it. For the COVID patients, and we have the yes prior to hospitalization for the surgery, yes in hospital prior to surgery, yes in hospital after surgery, or yes after discharge within 30 days. All of these options would remove your cases from analysis. There is no limitation at this time on what prior to a hospitalization means. So we're excluding any patient that's had a positive PCR testing for COVID-19 at any time. STS surgeon leadership working on setting up a call so we can talk about this and determine if a time frame needs to be added to the definition for Harvest Code 11. So we'll be providing more feedback to you all in the near future on that. And the latest report is where on the IQVIA website. Oh, I had my IQVIA thing open, so why don't we go there? We'll wait for that to load. So adult cardiac surgery database. And the 999 report is STS general national report. Under operational reports, risk adjusted and dashboard. The reporting period for the Harvest 2 is this 4/1/2018 to 3/31/2020. This will be your Harvest 2 report. This will be your Harvest 2 report, and this was not a composite rating, a star rating period. So the results, you won't have updated star ratings, but you will have updated risk adjusted and benchmark data for for this time frame. And it's pulling up now. Oh, so Natalia, thank you for clarifying. I'll take your question as we're waiting for the screen to pull up here. You just said you're talking about the surgical approach for valve cases, not aortic cases, normal and minimally invasive cases like TAVR. You're talking about valve cases that are done through thoracotomies. And I thought that we reported approach out on the data. I'd have to double check that for you. So this is the Harvest 2 report ending March 21st, 2020. Your quality ratings, the last quality ratings we had was December 20th. So these are not updated with Harvest 2, but all of the other not quality ratings or rating trends, these are all relevant to when the star ratings are calculated. I believe that DCRI has been updating our NQF measures for us. So the NQF measures tab is updated with the March 2021 data. And then your risk adjusted and regional outcomes, your benchmark report, and if you participate in anesthesia, these will all have your updated Harvest 2 results. And so these are all here, and that's where you'll find it. And then for surgical approach, I thought we reported that out. I'd have to look and find out for sure where that's if that's reported and where that's located. With your response about minimally invasive valve cases, are you speaking about robotic valve procedures? Thank you, Elizabeth. They're included in other. So Elizabeth answered the question. Thank you. Yeah, I was misunderstanding. I thought we were talking about transcatheter cases. In the anesthesiology section, if the post-op labs are done a few minutes after the 1 hour window, can they still be included? This is a tricky question. And Melinda, would you like to take this one?
Yes. For the training manual, we really need to go by the definition in the training manual. So the labs have to be collected within 1 hour. So if I was coding this case, I would say the answer would be no, because they weren't done within the 1 hour window.
Yeah, and I can elaborate on that a little bit. Why they're being strict on this is that what anesthesiology is looking for is the impact of the anesthesia care on that patient in the operating room, and the time that post-op that they're most concerned about is that 1 hour window. So that's why that they were pretty strict about that. And Melinda has to be the enforcer. Right, Melinda?
Yeah.
I'm like,
I have to be the bad guy.
Yeah, you have to be the bad guy. Okay, so if I click on export report, I get the report through 2020, not through March 2021. I will let Melanie take that. Melanie and her team take that one.
Yeah, she will need to contact our support team if she hasn't already. We would need to see if what's happening in that instance. So hopefully if you do have a ticket number and you've already contacted our support team, then of course we'll get back to you. But if you haven't, please go ahead and contact them so that we can go ahead and review.
Also, this is Joe. Just to add quickly, if you're looking at star rating stuff, that doesn't get updated every harvest. And so your star rating reports, for instance, would still say December 2020 at the top, since there was no update to your star ratings for March 2021.
Oh, thanks, Joe. Good call out.
Thank you, Joe. Bill says reharvest dates. I work on another registry that gives 10 to 12 weeks to complete the data prior to harvest, and this registry doesn't even require any follow-up. Why is the STS so short? Couple reasons why we are so short. So 12 weeks is about 3 months. So your data is 3 months post the time that it occurred. And we have to take into account that it takes about 6 to 8 weeks to run the composite measure on 2 of those harvests, right? On harvest 1 and harvest 3. So if you take all of that into account and we take the long time frame of 8 weeks to run composites, we're now looking at 20 weeks that data is 6 months old by the time you get it back and put it into use. So that's one reason. The other reason is because sites want to have their data back sooner so they can continue with QI projects, which kind of goes with the first reason. And then we also have to consider other databases and their harvest close date. So we do 4 harvests a year with adult cardiac. We have open submission, which means you can enter your data in at any time, clean it up, and keep moving forward. We used to only have a 2-week window for harvest close, which fell right around 7 to 8 weeks post the last day within the harvest window, post last OR day within the harvest window. You would only have 2 weeks to get your data in and cleaned up. So that's really why we try to give enough time so that you have plenty of time to get that data in. And as I spoke about on the last webinar, using that open submission, getting your data in early, cleaning it up as soon as you can, really, and not doing large batches of data all at once, not submitting 3 months of data or submitting 3 years of data at one time will help you. If you submit just small pieces of data, clean it up as you go. At the end of harvest time, it really isn't that big of a deal. I have extracted for STS, and I've been involved with the database since early 2000s. And I can tell you right now, the way that the database is set up is probably the most efficient way to get for data managers to get a process in place and get your data in with the least amount of stress on you as you're doing it. So that's why. Would STS consider free registration for registry participants like they do for NCDR? Then the only cost is travel for a live meeting. STS has heard this many times, and we see how NCDR does it as well. We have a joint database with them, so we're aware of how the registration fees are applied to your, they're actually applied to your database fees instead, and you receive 1 free registration per database participant. STS has taken note of that, and we are considering the best way to help sites out, help data managers out with that, so you don't have to pay that cost and it's already covered. There is discussion and ongoing discussion for the last year or so on the best way to do that. It's going to take some working with participation fees and data, all that stuff, database fees, and want to make it the same across all 4 of our databases or 5 of our databases. So yeah, we are aware and we are taking that into consideration, and hopefully something like that will come down the pipeline soon. Chris says, Carol, hi, if we know we can only view AQO post meeting, should we still register or can we just view on the website? Oh, I'm going to let Emily take this one.
Yes, register. We will have no way of knowing that you want to view it. So, yep, please do.
Okay, so Emily, just to clarify, the AQO posting of the meetings after AQO, the posting of the AQO meetings after AQO was finalized will only be available to those who register for AQO?
Correct.
Okay, thank you. Any word on when cabbage will move to a 3-year rating? So the cabbage composite is moving to a 3-year rating starting with this harvest that just closed. So this harvest 3 that just closed will be a 3-year rating. Would STS consider 2 exports per year? Your site can do as many exports. We want your data as often as possible. We prefer that you do it 4 times a year. STS is likely not going to move to 2 exports per year for adult cardiac surgery, just because of the importance on the outcomes of the patients and the surgeons expecting to see their data 4 times a year. But it is always something that we can take back to surgeon leadership and discuss. If your site is struggling, then reach out to me. If you're having a hard time with the 4 exports per year, reach out to me and I'd be happy to talk to you more about that. Could we please align our terminology, meaning could we include dates with the label of harvest 2? This helps determine which star rating reports. So I think we have the terminology is provided in the national report overview. and we talk about star ratings only being populated for harvest 1 and harvest 3. But I'm happy to get more feedback from you, Linda, on that.
Carol, it's Melanie.
Hi, Melanie.
Hey, we also, and I'm not sure if this is what she's also referring to, or maybe if didn't see, but on the, when you select the parameter page, I think we have some verbiage there. If you click the expand button where in the upper, well, yeah, if you want to go here, right here, we have star ratings are only calculated for harvest 1 and 2 underneath that drop down. And then when you do select one of those harvest periods for either harvest 1 or 3, we do have that information on the report also. It appears in the header.
Hey, Melanie, I have a question
Yes.
on this. And I don't know if it's possible or not, but maybe something that would be helpful is if we could label this like 2/12, 1/18 to 12/31/2020. And is it possible to put a parentheses that says harvest 1 and like harvest 3 for the 6/30?
We can add it as an
Maybe we could,
enhancement. I can go ahead and take note
yeah,
of
maybe
that.
we could take it back to an elaboration call.
Yeah.
I bet you
And
that
that
would
would
be
help too.
helpful.
Yep.
Okay. That's great. Thank you. Yeah, I forgot that this was here.
Yep. And it's on the reports too for those harvests also. But I agree, to give some clarity there, and that drop down would help too, I'm sure.
Yeah, I always would get confused about, because harvest 1, you want to think that actually that you're thinking, oh, Q1, but actually it's Q4 data. And that's where the confusion comes. Michelle says she's seeing more patients with amyloid, maybe a variable in the future. So Michelle, if you could please send that in to me, I'll put it in the list that me and Melinda are collecting for version 4.23. Oh, that's what else I wanted to talk to you all about. Version 4.23, a decision was made with surgeon leadership. I like to throw everything back on them because they really are the ones making the decision. We had a call with them today with the adult cardiac surgery database task force chairs and our workforce chair and our council operating board chair regarding version 4.23. Which is the version that's planned to go live January 1st, 2023. And we're starting the upgrade process here in a couple weeks. A decision was made. We had such a large upgrade for version 4.20. We did a lot of cleanup and we kept things, and hopefully it was a good upgrade for everybody. And it really was a lot of work. And we felt that we made good progress with it, that we're only focusing on cleaning up version 4.23 for the new version. So there won't be very many changes coming. We'll be correcting some parent-child relationships we had with in version 4.20. Highly unlikely if we do implement any new fields or make any major changes, they will be minor in scale to what happened in version 4.23. So I just wanted to give you all a heads up. We do have a new version that will be coming in 2023. It should be minimal. And I'm very excited about that because I know anytime we go through an upgrade, there's a lot of education and changes, sometimes difficult. So just wanted to give you a heads up on that. And so Michelle, email that into me and we will review it with the surgeons on the upgrade. And Melinda, I hope you think that that's good news because that means the training manual hopefully won't need many changes. Elizabeth says, I am sorry, can you just clarify, robotic valve procedures are not included in the, no, they are included in the valve volume. They are placed, I don't think we, hold on one second. I'm going to go to my handy dandy PRAC ID sheet here. And I think
valves.
Yeah, I just don't want to say it wrong because there's obviously there's some chatter and I just want to make sure it's clear. So we have, this is the, can you see that? Okay. Melinda.
Pretty small to me.
How's that?
Thank you.
Okay. Melinda keeps me in line if you guys didn't know. Isolated AVR, and we're looking for procedure for surgical approach. I'm looking in the left-hand column. So just AVR is this second column here. The variable short name is the first column. So I'm looking in the second column, but I'm checking the first column to see which variables these are. So I'm looking for surgical approach. I do not believe surgical approach is used in, but I very well could, I don't have this chart memorized, but I don't believe it is used for procedure identification. But we're just going to double check just to make sure. Oops. And I do not see it. Nope, it's not used. So surgical approach robotic would still be kept in. And when we scroll down here, we see that at the bottom of this page, it talks more about exclusions. So all transcatheter valves are removed from analysis before applying this PROC ID. And then we define what a transcatheter valve is in coding. And that's it for that. So the robotic procedures, and I'm just going to pull up, I know that's very small. I'm just going to pull up the data collection form. I'm just going to make sure I had it right. So I'm going to scroll down. Sorry for the scrolling, everybody. I'm just going to scroll down to the operative section, and I'll tell you which field we're talking about in more detail. So we have initial operative approach. We're talking about things like thoracotomies, partial sternotomies, port access. And we're talking about robot used for the procedure in any format. Neither one of these fields, robotic or operative approach, are used in determining if a procedure is removed from the isolated category. So they have no impact on if a case stays in a mitral valve or a aortic valve procedure field grouping. So they have no impact on that. I submit data, but I think what she was saying is when it's reported in other, I think what she's saying is that the, here we go. I think what she's saying is if we look, oh, dang it. I'm going to go to AVRs here. Just to see if that pulls up. In this operative information, I'm a clicker and I like things to happen quickly. So when they don't, I get a little, we have the robotic technology used is reported here for those patients. And I don't see that we report out incision type here. I believe it is reported out in the participant dashboard, which is your raw data. It doesn't impact the doesn't impact risk adjustment, but I think it's reported out in your raw data here. Let me just check. I hope you guys don't mind when I have to do this. I hope it's not annoying to you. I'm clicking on all these things and all of that. Thanks for being patient. I think when we look under operative here that we may find, it's going to take a second to load. I think that's where we'll find the information we're looking for. Let's just see. Maybe not. If not, we can always add it in. Yeah, I don't see it reported out. So that's something that we can put on the, that's something that we could put on for an elaboration call and start reporting out incision types. Okay. Bill says he submits data every week. It doesn't help with the 30-day follow-up, especially patients that move out of the area. Yeah, I hear you, Bill. And hopefully the 7 weeks will give you enough time to get that 30-day follow-up on those patients. Remember that if the 30-day follow-up, that's the readmission doesn't, if you don't know, just code on no for readmission at the time of harvest close and it's still fine. The other fields that you need are your complication fields and 30-day status fields, which if the patient goes home, if the patient's done on April 1st and goes home on April 8th. And I know you have cases that happen in the last month of harvest close, but if they go home that time, or we could even look at June, if you do a case July 1st and your patient goes home on July 8th, which is kind of an extended length of stay for that patient anyway. You have a couple, you could get all your post-op complications coded by the time they go home. And you can do your other 30-day follow-up when it's appropriate for that patient. I'm not sure what other fields we do 30-day follow-up on. Outside of the readmission post 30 days from discharge. Hold on one second.
Well, we have the infection follow-up and the
Yeah, the
mortality.
surgical
and
site,
the readmit.
surgical site infection up to 30 days.
Mhm.
So, and that's pretty, I mean, you just are going to check your surgeon's office, or you're going to check your EHRs for those. So just do your best with what you can. When will STS allow sites to view their site contact information on our own? So we are working on a connection between our management system with IQVIA, and that's in testing process. So hopefully that will be coming very soon. While you were on the PROC ID, it would be very helpful if you carried over the column headings to every page. I tried that, Linda, and I'll be happy to send it to you if you'd like to try. I tried to do that before I PDF this document, and I could not. So the I think what you're talking about is it worked on the bottom part. I couldn't get it to do it on the top part for some reason, but I'll try again. I agree. It's and I use the document quite a bit, so it is kind of annoying. You said as of last submission, ACSD is going to a 3-year rating. It was 1 year, correct? Yep. Previous to this last submission, which was Harvest 3 2021, cabbage was a 1 year. Cabbage was a 1 year rating. The valves in Valve Plus cabbage were 3-year ratings. Now we're going to all 3-year ratings for our risk adjusted procedures. So for the cabbage, for the valves, and for the Valve Plus cabbages, thanks. We're going to the 3-year ratings. Thanks, Linda. Let me see if I can get it. I'll try it again. And if I can, I'm going to reach out to you. Kevin says, any updates on patients with positive PCR for COVID affecting cases still being excluded from analysis? One of our sites has a small volume, so excluding some patients that had COVID last year and or those that were asymptomatic has great impact on data and eligibility due to closure ratios. So Kevin, as I said about 15 minutes ago, the surgeon leadership is looking at this, and we're going to be talking about adding a potential time frame to that pre-op positive PCR testing. Nothing at this time is nothing at this time has changed, but the surgeons are looking at that and seeing what needs to be done to address it. Could you create an online PROC ID calculator similar to the risk calculator, but you only fill out the procedure parts? Well, Tina, that's a great idea. I think you can, I don't know if you can still do that in the, let me check out the online risk calculator and see if there's any way that can be done. I think a PROC ID calculator would be kind of cool. And maybe it's something we can also talk to IQVIA about them. They might have resources to help us with that in the future. That's a great idea. Okay, Michelle's still going to complain about the limited space on the IQVIA screen given to data, so much wasted space. And yeah, I hear what you're saying, and I don't like all the scrolling stuff, but you can move things around and give yourself a little bit more space. I don't know if that's helpful for you or not. There are some other ways where if you are on a specific report, I don't know if it's in the participant dashboard or not,
You could do
but
it
where
on the
you can,
participant report where you could right click on that tab at the bottom left. So you see where it says ACSD participant dashboard report, for example. Yep, that right there. If
oh,
you right click, open page in new window, also
it,
gives
it's beautiful.
yeah, it gives you more space if you do that. But we use a tool that's called Spotfire and it's embedded. So with some of the reports, it's unfortunately a limitation within that tool. We do, of course, look at ways to continue to enhance the look and you know, try to consume some of the space that is there, but you know, we do continue to look at how we can continue to enhance, but this is an option if you're looking at the participant dashboard that you're able to make more space.
Yeah, that's great. And it looks like it stays. So when I went to open that, it looks like it stays with, so I just opened it and then all my tabs still populated
Yeah,
here.
it's gonna,
And
right,
then
when you resized it, it keeps that.
Oh, no, I meant that, but then I don't have to keep on doing that. I can
Oh,
just, I mean,
no.
I don't want to, like, say, I don't want to see all those graphs. I just want to look at my
Yeah,
raw data.
it keeps that
I can
setting when
just,
you did that. Yeah, when you did it.
yeah,
Mhm.
so that's
Now,
great.
that may not work in the risk adjusted report. This is a quick way to do this. I believe you can do this in the MBR and this dashboard report, but I think there is no tab at the bottom if I'm just going off my memory, where the risk adjusted, you're not able to do that same right click action.
No, but I had those two aerials on the upper right-hand corner. And I think
Yeah,
that,
it'll give a little bit more.
yeah,
Let's
let's
see.
see. Michelle says, nice. Good job. Good job, Melanie.
Great. Glad that helped.
Okay, so let's go to this. Oh, this one. I'm just gonna pick something that will load hopefully pretty quickly. Yeah, I don't see the tab.
Let's see. Sometimes there's little tools that pops up when you hover your mouse. There's the
What's this one?
maximize. Yeah, and let's see that one. It just
Oh, that's
basically
similar.
it takes away the graphs, so it'll just show you the tabular section.
And then I
And
just
go
click
back.
that and
You
it'll
click
bring me
that
back.
one, it'll go back.
Okay, so everybody listen up. This is the risk adjusted reports. I opened up one of the benchmarked reports and I right clicked in this report and I selected maximize visualization. And it brings me, takes away those graphs and brings me all my data on one page. I don't know if that's helpful or not, but that would be that might be helpful. And then to get back, you do these two arrows. And then that looks like, oh, what is
It
this
just
gonna
goes
do?
through the different components of the report. It'll just move through each component. So it's not too helpful with those. It's just going to bring you to
Oh,
every
I see.
component. Yeah. When you're in
Okay.
this view, but bring it back to the regular. Yeah.
Oh, got it. Okay. All right. And then Donna missed how we resized. Okay. So I'm going to go back over. I was in the participant dashboard and I'm just going to select a small time frame.
I think you had one open. No. Oh, no, that was the large one. Sorry. Keep going.
No, I think you're right. But I want to show how I got there.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm going to go to just a small time frame here and I'll pick our valves. And don't forget that you also have this patient selection filter. This is the COVID patient filter, but I'm just going to leave it on all patients. So this is the participant dashboard. And then down here, you have this tab. And if you right click, it says open page in a new window. When you do that, it will open it all in a much bigger window. And you can resize these so you can see everything, or most everything that will fit on one page. And then if you were to, I don't have drill down capability on the STS, but if you were drilling down and you select something like that, it would populate down here in this screen. So, and within that, when you do the when you do the open page in new window, you get this, you can easily just go between the different reports within that section in a much larger screen. That's great, Melanie. Thank you.
You're welcome.
I know you've gone over it a couple times.
But we may have some new individuals that may have didn't see
Yeah.
any of that previous stuff. So
And I think sometimes that we can hear it as many times as you want to tell us, but until we actually get in there and do it,
right.
sometimes it doesn't hold, at least that's how it is for me. Okay. Mary says, yay, that's awesome.
Great. Yeah, but we
When
are
you
definitely,
open
I
the
think,
page,
sorry, Carol, go ahead.
oh, that's okay. Pat said, when you open the page to the larger view, can you export that to share? So this is the larger view here. It's a good question. I don't know.
So if you right
Let's
click,
see.
remember
We
you
have
have your
different-
options to right click and export.
Oh,
If you want to have, yeah, so this is always going to follow you. So if you wanted to export these results, you are able to do that through either Excel or through the table. And so it'll go through. We are looking at, again, enhancing the printing capabilities in regards to being able specifically for this report to enable it to print all of the different sections in one. Right now, it is individual, but we have heard the feedback in regards to can we get it all in one shot? So we are looking at that enhancement.
that's great, Melanie. Thank you very, very much.
Mhm.
And then Donna says, how do you switch back? So in the participant dashboard, it opened a brand new tab up here in my browser for me.
Yes.
So all I have to do is just go back to click on report list. It's going to load for some reason, but this
Yeah.
screen should still be there for you.
Yeah, the screen
then when
should
we
be
were-
there. The previous report would be there in a separate tab. So you're correct, Carol.
Okay. And I think it's probably just because I'm in the STS account that it's going to want to load, but I don't know. And then when you're in the risk adjusted dashboard and you made that bigger, it's just clicking on the two arrows that point together to make it smaller again.
Mhm.
I think you guys, everybody will get used to this as we use it more and we get more reports back and surgeons start missing their paper their PDF reports. So I think we'll get used to this. It's just going to take a little bit of time, like anything we do. So Linda, thank you for the email. And so Linda's saying that the IQVIA announcements via the notification section is not an efficient way to contact data managers and is requesting that we email out regarding reports and harvest. So I hear what you're saying, and I'll bring this back internally to talk about if we can resume emailing out. And that might be a good poll for me to do. I know everybody wants to get out of here, but let me just ask a question. We could do this pretty quickly. And this is going to be specific to this is going to be specific to this is going to be specific to, I just launched it. This is going to be specific to the report releasing of the reports. Not to take this back internally, just because there's a little strain on resources when we have to send email notifications. We have to work within our quality department and then work across our marketing teams. And we really wanted to save email notifications for major updates at STS. And I think this is a major, I think this is something, it's up to you, and I can share this and we'll talk internally about resuming email notifications if it's decided upon by the STS leadership. But I think that's pretty clear. Okay, I'm just going to end it, and pretty clear to me that I think emails are appreciated when we have report release. So we'll take that back and discuss it at STS and see what we can do. Thanks, Linda, for bringing that up. I forgot I was going to add that poll, and I am on the Google group, and I love to see the emails come back and forth, and everybody helps each other out so much. Okay, I'm just going to try if Melanie, you can hop off, or if anybody needs to hop off. I just want to get through these last few questions here. Our Harvest 2 report has missing 2021 isolated cabbage readmission data. The whole page isn't showing data. Is this a known problem or just us? So Tabitha, if you could please submit that to the IQVIA help desk, they'll check into that for you and let you know what the status is on that. When you open the page to the larger view, can you export that to share? So yep, as Melanie said, right click on it and there's export options there, and IQVIA is working on enhancements to that currently. How many surgeons access IQVIA? The number is pretty low for the surgeons that have accessed it, but STS is working on surgeon engagement and education for the IQVIA platform, which will be coming soon. And the Harvest 2 report, the NQF outcome for mortality, the ending period is March 2021. Does this data percentage go back to 4/1/2018? So cabbages were looked at for a year, 1 year time period. The valve cabbage data is looked at for a 3-year time period. So it would be the 3 years for the cabbage valve and valve plus cabbage and valve. Is there not a way for IQVIA to be linked to an auto-generated email to managers when the reports are loaded? Not at this time, because we don't have integration with our management system at STS. That is being worked out. And I don't know if that one of those functionalities will be generated emails to data managers. But it's something that we can certainly, that, like I said, we're going to be talking internally about it, because I know that that's been a big ask on the Google group and through other emails I've been part of. So there's a question here about a Google group, and I don't know if anybody on this call, Linda, I don't know if you'd be able to help Joy out with the Google group. I'll open the chat box for you. If you could help her with that, or who she should contact, if she can contact you or anybody specific to be part of that. And last question. Oh, there you go. Posted in the, and I'll leave this up for a little bit. We're at the last question, but I'll leave this up. No clinical questions are asked on the Google group, just clarification. And if there's a clinical question, usually it gets referred back to Melinda. So just so you all are aware, it's not like a separate doorway to go to get your questions answered. IQVIA did say that they are working on the exported report view because they are not easy to view. And I am glad that you are going to work on them. Our surgeons in quality have asked. Thanks, Pat. Yeah, we saw your email. We are discussing those things internally, and definitely aware. So aware and on it. Okay, and I'm just gonna put this in the, oops, maybe, I don't think it'll let me. I wanted to copy this for you all, and I'll just put that down there. So that's the email or the link to the Google group to sign up. Thanks, Linda. And then did you just say the last harvest report only goes back a year for cabbage? So cabbage data is always, has always been reported in 12-month time frame, starting with harvest 3, which is the harvest that just closed. The report for cabbage will be a 3-year time, 3-year window, 36-month window for the cabbage composites. Okay. And, oh, look at this. Kim, who's very active in the Google group. Thanks, Kim. Provided us with
I put
this.
that in the, yep, I put that in the chat also, Carol.
Oh, thanks, Leanne. Thanks, Kim.
Thanks, Kim.
Okay. I think we're done here, everybody. So I'm going to leave that open. I'll leave this open just for a couple minutes if you folks are still or a couple seconds. I don't think it'll take you more than a minute if you're interested in Yep. Don't email Linda Denning, everybody. Email the Google group if you're interested in joining. And thanks everybody for joining. Thank you, Melanie, and all my wonderful STS team, and Joe, and thank you, and Steve, and thank you, Melinda, for your support and guidance as always. And thank you,
Great call,
Natalia.
Carol.
Yep. Can you
Wow.
put the polling questions up again about the focus groups? Oh boy. Okay. Now you're testing my Zoom skills. Oh, I guess I could stop sharing that. I don't know. I can relaunch the results. Let me see. There you go. I relaunched them. I hope that's what you wanted. I can't repull it because I need to save my results. Okay, yeah, you're welcome, Mary. Absolutely. Thanks everybody for joining. I hope you have a great rest of the day. Remember, do not email Linda Denning, email the Google group if you're interested, or I think that's Heather Burrows at Baycare. All right, everybody have a great rest of the day. Take care, and we will talk again soon. And be sure to reach out to me if you have any questions or anything, and Melinda for clinical stuff. So thanks, everyone. Thanks, Leanne, for all your help.
Oh, thank you. Great call, Carol.
Thanks, Melinda.
Good job, Melinda.
I think she muted us. She's never coming
She
back.
did.
Oh, no, I'm here. Thank you. Thank you for allowing me.
She's done with us, Carol.
She is done with that. She was going to ditch us. All right.
Bye,
Thank
guys.
you.
Bye.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Thanks.